Hello everyone, welcome to another video tutorial on the Code Angle YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to create an invoice management application making use of Lovable as well as Supabase. Now, if you are wondering what Lovable is, as you can currently see, we are on the URL that says Lovable.dev. Now, Lovable is an AI-powered platform designed to make web development more accessible, enabling users to create full stack web applications through its integration with Supabase. Now, we know Supabase is the open source alternative to Firebase. It allows you to create a Postgres database. It allows you to create authentication, instant APIs, edge functions, real-time subscription storage, and vector embeddings, and so much more. Now, when it comes to Lovable, Lovable makes use of natural language inputs to allow users to describe their ideas, just like you have this prompt right here. This prompt allows you to describe your idea, which it then transforms into fully functional applications with visually appealing designs, as well as custom domain setups. It also supports GitHub integrations, database connections, just like I mentioned earlier, such as Supabase, and then as a custom domain setup. With Lovable, you have features you need to enable you to ship applications with authentication and database storage. Lovable also offer additional or special features such as live rendering, bug fixes, instant deployment, and the ability to own and edit the generated code. All this would be displayed as we create our invoice management application. By the time we complete this tutorial using the world's first AI full stack engineer in the person of Lovable, I can guarantee you will love it. Before we proceed, if you are new to the channel, make sure you click on the like as well as the subscribe button for more awesome content such as this. And with that, let's get started by creating this invoice application by making use of Lovable as well as Supabase. Now, to get started with this project, we are going to paste in our first set of prompts. Now, as you can see, within the input field, I have a text that says, I want to build an invoice management application that helps freelancers send and track invoice status to their clients. This app should have features like user authentication, dashboard for creating an invoice, ability to download an invoice in PDF format. Now, for this first task, Lovable to do for us is to create the user interface for the project. And with that, we can now click on the send button. So once that is done, Lovable is going to take us to another page where we would now keep requesting more features for our application. So in the meantime, while the UI is being generated, you can see on the top nav bar on the right hand side, you have this Supabase, the publish button that allows you to publish your code for and deploy it. And then you have the settings button that allows you to edit the project and even connect it to GitHub. Mine is currently connected to GitHub. If your project is not currently connected to GitHub, rather, you have the GitHub button up here. So once you click on it, all you need to do is just to connect to GitHub using the prompts that would be loaded on the page. Since I already did that, I don't need to do it again. It's already set for me in this project. So as you can see, this is the response Lovable gave us. It says, let me help you create a beautiful invoice management application for the first version. So if I scroll down, okay, it has been able to generate it. I wanted to show you the small or the little icon that was loading that shows the code is still being generated. And as you can see, the code has been fully generated for us. We have this landing page which is not looking bad at all. It shows us the type of application we intend to build, which is an invoice management application. And we have the login button, we have the sign in button, we have the get started button, as well as the dashboard. So if I click on sign in, nothing happens. So this is where we can now start adding more features by requesting a change. So to connect this project to Supabase, all I need to do is move my mouse to the Supabase button we have right here and then click on it. You can see I already have an organization called the Sugar 10, and within this organization I can create my project. So I already have some projects created. I have active projects and I have inactive projects, and all I need to do is just to click on the create new project button. So that will open a new tab for me in the browser. And on this page, all I need to do is to give the project a name. I'm just going to call it MGT Invoice, just like an invoice management app. And I'm going to type in my password. And then I'm going to select a region. I think we can go with West Europe, which is Ireland. I think that is closer to where the possible users will be creating this application. So your region should always be closest to where your users will be. And then with that, I can just click on create new projects, and a new project is going to be generated for us in Supabase. As you can see, Supabase is setting up the project, and while that is going on, I can request a change. And the change I want to request for is to tell this prompt that the login page is not displaying. So I can just say the user interface for the login page is not displaying. Then you can see the blinking icon showing. That means Lovable is trying to fix that particular request we just made. As you can see, we now have a login page displaying on the browser. So on this page, we can either sign up. The register route is not working, so I need to inform Lovable about that as well. So probably I'll just copy this particular prompt and then paste it right here. Instead of login, we can just have register, and then we have Lovable fixing that for us as well. So you can see on the register page, we have the name, we have the email, password, and confirm password. If I click on sign in, you can see the routes work perfectly well on our invoice management application. So I think this is really cool. Another thing is you can open this in a new tab on the browser directly. As you can see, when I clicked on this arrow icon you have right here, it opened it on the browser, and you can just click on login and then click on sign up as well. So one thing I want to do next is, this is just the basic UI implementation. Now I want authentication to be enabled in this application, that is only authenticated users should be able to log in to the dashboard. So what I'm going to say, or what I'm going to tell Lovable next, is to enable authentication using Supabase. So I'm going to say make the email, sign in, and register work using Supabase. I think that's clear enough. So I'm just going to click on the send button, and that should fix that implementation. Let's see how Lovable responds to this. So it tells us to connect to a Supabase project. I think we already did that. I'm going to scroll down and invoice man. Okay, since we already created the project, we've not connected it. So I'm just going to click on connect, and I'm going to click on connect once again, and that should fix it. You can see Lovable is now connecting to your Supabase project to gather the database structures as well as the security settings. This may take a moment, so I guess we'll have to wait a while for Lovable to generate the solution to our prompt. So as you can see, it says our app is now connected to Supabase. So we need to enable sign up and login option with email or password. So let me go back to my Supabase dashboard, and I think that will be under authentication, and we can now click on providers. The providers contains all the auth providers available in Supabase. I mean, there are so much. I think I've just worked with about 3 of them, or probably 4. So with the email, what I'm going to do is to disable this confirm email, because this is a test project. It's still in test mode, it's not in production. So I think this confirm email should be disabled for now, and I can just click on save. And I think with the email enabled, our email should be able to work. So I'm just going to scroll down to see if Lovable is has been able to complete the authentication. Now let's test it out. Let's create a new account. So I'm just going to give it a name. Our new user, I'm going to call our new user Lindsay Gold. Lindsay Gold goes better. Then I'm going to say Gold. I want to generate a temporary mail, so I can just go to tempmail.com. I don't want to make use of any of my official mails for this tutorial. So I'm gonna go to temp mail, and with temp mail we can just generate a temporary disposable email, which I think is suitable for this kind of situation, and also for security reasons. So on temp mail, we need to verify if we are humans, and it's gonna navigate us to the dashboard of temp mail, where we can now copy whatever email is available for us. Page not found. That is weird. Aha, we are in now. I mean, that was a strange error message. So it's loading the email we're going to use for our testing. So I'm gonna copy the email and then I'm gonna paste it over here. Then the password, I can just do 12345678890 12345678890. I guess that's the most secured password you can find online. So I clicked on the create account button and nothing happens. That's strange. So we need to inform Lovable about this scenario. The create account button doesn't work. The create, okay, let me get rid of this. The create account button doesn't work. I'm gonna press enter. So it's Lovable is now creating a table that can be used to store user information. As you can see, these are PostgreSQL queries meant for our database in Supabase. And as you can see that now that our database structure has been set up, let's implement the registration functionality. So as you can see, Lovable is telling us what it's doing, and hopefully it works. Now, one thing to take note of is sometimes your build might be unsuccessful. So what you need to do in this scenario is just to click on that error, and then you are going to see the error message right here. So you can just click on try to fix it, and Lovable will try to fix whatever error is showing in the error log. So in some cases, when I've tried out Lovable, it tends to fix this error, but sometimes there are times where it might not be able to fix the error. So you need to find your way around that. But let's see what happens in this scenario if it's able to fix the error. So I can click on apply changes, and it says I've reviewed the SQL and it looks good, please run it. So it's running the SQL, and then it's fixing the error that was displaying in the error log. We just have to wait a little moment. As you can see, it says the registration functionality should now work correctly with proper TypeScript types. Another thing you should know is Lovable is built to work with React, Vite, Tailwind CSS, Shard, CN, UI, as well as TypeScript. That's why it's saying it now works correctly with proper TypeScript types. So let's proceed. Once again, I'm going to enter the name we entered previously, which was Lindsay Gold. And then we're going to paste in the email address, and then just type in the random character for our password as well as the confirm password, then click on create account. And let's see if this works. As you can see, account created successfully. Fantastic. So let's try to sign in by entering the email as well as the password. So I'm going to click on sign in, and let's see if we get logged in into our dashboard. Nothing happens. So this is where we now need to inform Lovable that we are not able to sign into the dashboard. So we can now type into the prompt that sign in button does not navigate user into the dashboard. Let's see what Lovable has to say about this. I think we're making a lot of progress so far. We've been able to register a user, and we received a prompt that the user was successfully created. Now the login is the final step in the authentication process. Once this is done, then all we need to do is to deal with the dashboard of the application. So it's currently implementing the sign-in functionality. So that has not been done. So the sign-in functionality has been implemented. So let's test it out by pasting in the email once more and then typing in our password. Click on sign in, and fantastic. We are now in our dashboard. As you can see, we have a sidebar that says invoices. Then we have settings. I don't think we need the settings page. So although it doesn't kind of work, it shows a blank page. What I'm going to do is to refresh. Let me refresh the page. I just want to navigate back, but in situation like this, you might want to refresh the page, and then once again log in, type in your email as well as your password, and then click on sign in. So we've been successfully signed in. Now these settings, I have no intentions for it, but for now I just want to create a new invoice, ability to create a new invoice, and then download the invoice as PDF, as well as maybe have a toggle button that toggles between paid and pending. So when a client pays, you can just click the toggle button that says paid, but if the client hasn't paid, you can just put the toggle button that says pending. So let me click on new invoice, and that doesn't do anything. So I can just tell ChatGPT, did I say ChatGPT? Excuse me. I can just tell Lovable to generate a user interface. In fact, I want to generate a modal for the creating of a new invoice. This modal should have input fields such as invoice number, client name, amount, due date, as well as the description. So I'm going to press the enter key, and let's see if this is going to be generated for us by Lovable. Now that And now, as you can see, this according to Lovable has been generated for us by making use of the chat.cn UI dialog component. So let's log in once again. I'm just going to paste in the email as well as the password. So I'm going to sign in once again, and I'm going to click on new invoice. And once again, we are presented with a blank page. I don't know what's happening. Let me see if the refresh button reloads the page for us. That nothing happens. I'm going to refresh the page once more, and let me try this once again. So this can be a bit frustrating, but you just need to be patient with it. So let's log in once more. Type in the password, click on sign in, and then this is the button we ought to click, create invoice. So this create invoice is the one with the modal. So we can just tell Lovable to remove this new invoice button, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. So I'm just going to click on create invoice. So currently this is just a user interface. So I'm going to tell Lovable to make this functionality for this UI possible. So I'm going to say create the functionality to create a new invoice with the modal. So I think that's clear enough. So as you can see, it's going to create a table in Supabase to store the invoices. So this is the SQL command or PostgreSQL command for that. I'm going to apply changes, and it says the migration applied successfully, but this is still blinking, so I'm going to wait a little bit more. So there's a note at the bottom that says the file is getting long and I should consider a refactor. I think for now, I'm going to ignore that. Let's just see if the functionality works first before we think of refactoring. I think that is important. So I'm going to click on create new invoice, and the invoice number, I'm just going to give it IMV-001, and then the client's name is just going to be, I'm going to call the client Lindsay as well, Lindsay Gold. I'm going to stick with that. Amount $100. Then the due date for this invoice is probably, I'm going to give it the 20th of December. It's not showing on the prompt, on the input rather. When I click on that, so I think that's a bug, and I'm just going to enter a random description that says pay now. Let's see if the create invoice actually works. So you can see due date is required. So that's a bug. So I'm going to tell Lovable to fix it. So due date has an error and doesn't show in the input field. I think this prompt should be enough to fix that error. Probably I should have said it's not selectable in the UI. I think that should have been the prompt I entered into the due date. But let's see what happens. Build unsuccessful. I'm going to click on try to fix it. Okay, let's see if this works now. According to this, the error has been fixed. So I'm going to click on ability to pick a date. I think I need to enter a new prompt that says due date is not actually selectable in the user interface. Due date is not selectable in the user interface. That should have been the prompt I entered previously, because it's not selectable like I said previously. So that needs to be fixed. So it's actually a date picker, as you can see from what Lovable is talking about. The date picker in the create invoice modal component is not properly set, so it needs to make it properly selectable. And it keeps giving us this warning that the component is getting quite long and we should consider a refactor. But anyways, let's see if this has worked. I'm going to click on the reload button or the refresh page button. I don't know, anytime I click on this button, the page goes blank. Okay, now our page is back. Let's try it out this time around. It's still not working. Now, this is strange. The date picker is still not selectable. Oh boy. The date picker is still not selectable and doesn't show in the input field. Please use input type of date in HTML instead of the date picker. Let's see if this will work, because I think the normal HTML input type of dates is enough for what we want to do. We don't really need a special date picker to do this. Exactly. So I think this should fix our error. As you can see, this has been fixed. So I think I'm happy with that. Probably want this icon to be at the end, but I'm not gonna bother about that for now. I just want to make sure that this works. So quickly, I'm just gonna enter IMV-001. The name, set it to Lindsay Gold, and then the amount, and then the date, which we already set to 20th of December, and the description testing. That's good enough for description. So let's create the invoice and let's see if it will be created. Invoice successfully created. Now we need a place where we can view the invoice. So I'm gonna tell Lovable to list the invoice in the settings tab. List the invoice created in the settings tab. So the settings tab is where we're going to be able to download as well as probably edit the status of the invoice. So I think the settings page is good to do that. Like, I think is the proper place to do that. So let's see how Lovable is going to handle this prompt. So I'm going to click on settings. I don't know if this is done. The settings page is currently blank. It's currently blank. It says it's a routing issue, so it's setting it up for us. So as you can see, it's loading the invoice. Fantastic. Now we have a list of our invoice, the invoice number, the invoice, the client's name rather, the amount, the due dates, and the status. So make the status toggleable. So I'm gonna say make the status toggleable. I hope I spelled that correctly, as pending or paid. So it's going to make the status toggleable as pending or paid. Let's see how it's going to do that. I think we're almost done with this project. So once we're able to toggle the status, then all we need to do is just to create a new invoice. It's going to be listed here. Then once the client pays us, then we click on paid based on the toggle rather. And if the client hasn't paid, I mean, we just set it to pending. So you can see mark as paid, mark as pending. So once we mark it as paid, you can see, I think I'll prefer a toggle icon. Make it a switch toggle icon instead of a button. I think that would be more user friendly, in my own opinion. I think that would be more clear to the user instead of making it a button. So let's see if Lovable is able to implement that for us. And after that, we can just make the invoice downloadable as PDF. Build unsuccessful. Let's see. Try to fix it. Fantastic. This is what I want. Oh, it disappears once again. All right, yeah. So this is fantastic. I love this. So you can see we also have these prompts at the bottom here. As we toggle the switch, it's showing the notification box. So now the final thing I want to do is to make the invoice downloadable. So I'm gonna say make the invoice downloadable as PDF. Make the invoice downloadable as PDF. So after this, I think we have a basic invoice management application ready to go. So it's making use of JS-PDF library to implement this, as you can see on the page. Once this is done, we're going to create one more invoice. So you can see we have the download icon. Let's see if this works. Okay, fantastic. You can see the status is pending, the description is testing, the due date is December 20th, and we can send this to a client. And you can modify this as well to make it more presentable. But for now, I'm just going to stop here. As you can see, we have a fully functioning invoice management application. Let's create a new invoice. This is going to be IMV 007. Let's make this 007. I like that number, 007. Then this can be NO. Our client name can be NO Gold. And then the amount is probably they are owing us $300. And the due date for this is probably the 1st of January, and then the description can be pay me my money in exclamation marks, and I'm going to click on create invoice. Now you can see we have this notification that says invoice created successfully. To confirm that, let's go to the settings page, and it's loading our invoice, and you can see we have two invoices. The second invoice, which is called 007 or IMV 007, the client name and gold, the amount, the due date, the pending status. Let's say this person has paid. Now let's download it to see if it reflects on the PDF file. As you can see, the status is paid and gold has paid us $300, and we're good to go. I mean, this is as simple as you can think of, because I mean, just with some prompts you're able to create a basic functional application. So I think this is fantastic, and you can try and play around with it. I think one more thing I want to do is probably to head over to GitHub. I want to see if we can compile this. Let me see in our GitHub. Let's see if we can deploy this to GitHub. So I'm going to click on build and deploy in private. Since our GitHub is connected already, or let me make it public and then click on build and deploy in private. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Am I in the right? Okay, connect to GitHub. Yes, connect to GitHub. So we're going to transfer this repository to our GitHub page. I need to enter some authentication code. So quickly, I'm gonna get the code for that right now, because by default, GitHub makes it compulsory for us to have two-factor authentication in case of security purposes. So I'm gonna go to my app, my authenticator app, and I'm gonna type in the code, which is I'm gonna type it out right now. Yeah, and it's verifying, and it's being verified. So I think yeah, with that, we've been able to deploy that particular repository to GitHub. I need to confirm if that is true by heading over to GitHub. I don't know if that is complete. I need to confirm that on my GitHub page. I can't find it. This is something I tried while trying to create the tutorial. Let's reauthorize. Okay, it's saying connecting to GitHub. Let me refresh my GitHub account. Still not. I'm gonna click cancel this warning message. Okay, transfer repository to the sugar 10. Okay, this is the link to the GitHub page. So it's now on my GitHub account. So you can see it's called Freelancer Bundle. And like I said, Lovable built this making use of Vite, React, Shardcn UI, or what's it called? Yeah, Shardcn UI, as well as Tailwind CSS. So if I decide to clone this repository, for instance, if I click on the code drop down, I click on the link, and probably I head over to my what's it called, to my desktop, and I create a new folder called tests. And within this folder, I type in the command git clone, and then I paste in the bundle URL, not the bundle URL, the URL of the repository. Then I cd into the repository, and then I run npm install to install all the packages. Npm install. I hope this doesn't take a while. Now the installation is complete. All 431 packages have been installed. Let me open this up in my Visual Studio Code by running the command code dot. Let's press enter, and then in Visual Studio Code, we can have a slightly better view of the code base. So first things first, I want to go to the package.json file, and we can see all the dependencies installed. Okay, get out of here. So you can see all the packages installed, all the dependencies installed. You can see we have the hook form resolver, Radix UI. We have Supabase installed. We have JS-PDF, which helps us to download our invoice in PDF. We have React Date Speaker, which didn't tend to work at. We have to make use of the default HTML date speaker. We have Tailwind installed as well. You can just go through all the packages installed, and then the code base, which you always find in the src directory. You have your components, you have invoices folder, you have the layout folder. Everything is written in TypeScript, so you can see everything, and you can make changes to this and deploy it however you want. And let's even compile this to see if it works. Since it's written in Vite, I can just run npm run dev. That should compile the project. Let's see about that. So the project is compiling, and it's now working on localhost 8081. So I'm just gonna grab this link, head straight to my browser. Not you. So let's head over to localhost 8081, and let's see if the app is gonna display successfully without any form of error. I'm gonna open up my inspector just to check the console, just to be sure. Currently no error is showing, but it's taking a while to load, probably because we're loading it for the first time. As you can see, we have no error in the console. The app looks to be functioning properly. If I click on login, I think this part of the application needs a picture. So we need a picture here. Probably we should just make this entire page just displaying the form instead of having these two equal sides. Anyways, I'm not bothered about the function, about the design for this project. I just want to show an invoice management application that works. And let's put in the email address as well as the password. Let's see if we can log in successfully, which we can. As you can see, although the invoices part of the tab that shows the total invoices doesn't seem to be functional in terms of showing the outstanding amount and the total invoice. Probably we want to do that before we call it a day. Let's try that. Let me just inform Lovable that the total invoices and the outstanding amounts is not functional. The, what's it called, total invoices and the outstanding amount is not functional on the, what tab is that? On the invoices tab. Let's see if it's able to fix this. As you can see, Lovable understands our prompts perfectly. It says let's update the dashboard component to calculate and display the total number of invoices and the outstanding amounts from pending invoices using Supabase data. So it now says the dashboard now displays the actual total amount. Let's sign in to confirm this. So I'm just going to enter the email as well as the password and then click on sign in. I mean, it doesn't show. Oh yeah, it updates now. You can see we have 2 invoices created, and then you see one of the invoices, the first one is paid in the amount of $300, but the one of Lindsay Gold is not paid, which is $100, and you can see it shows right there as $100. So this is now working properly. So with this, I can say the version 1.0 of this invoice application is complete. So if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. I think Lovable is just so fantastic and lovable, and the integration with Supabase is like a perfect combination. So I am urging you to try this out in your free time to see if you can come up with an idea, an application. Probably this will enable you to create your own SaaS application. You never can say. I have some ideas running in my head right now. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Probably in the next video, I'm going to see how we can publish and deploy this application. But for now, I'd like to stop here, and I'll see you again in the next one.